everyone, Jack Kodiga here. Welcome to Freedom in Government, where we explore what it takes to make America truly free. Today I'll explain why choosing Trump over Kamala is a no-brainer. Donald Trump can restore sanity in our country, while a Kamala Harris presidency would further destabilize our nation. Kamala serves as a puppet for a corrupt establishment that undermines our country. I'm not assuming ill intent without reason. Our insecure elections and open border policies suggest a deliberate agenda. It's dumb to think they are dumb. This isn't the Rotary Club, it's the United States government. The only reasonable explanation for these actions is the desire for total control, which betrays our founding values. America's mission is to become a free society. We were founded on the principle that our rights come from God, natural rights, and that government should protect those rights and ensure equality under the law. The freedoms we cherish depend on responsible citizens ensuring our government operates with liberty in mind. Tampering with our election systems and immigration systems are some of the most blatant ways to undermine the essential checks we need on our government. In contrast, we can see that Donald Trump respects our country through his practical stances on immigration and election security. In this video, I'll elaborate on all this and discuss how we should respond to the madness in our political system. The short version is that we must be responsible, freedom-loving citizens rather than partisan players to secure our liberty. However, it's crucial that our personal belief system goes beyond American values. While I end this video with a focus on the long view, I won't overlook the election right in front of us, and that's where we're going to start talking. This election presents a chance to challenge a corrupt system where unelected officials have more power than our elected representatives. Everyone knows Kamala is controlled. No one becomes the Democratic nominee without a primary vote, especially someone as unpopular as she was in 2020 without selling out. The shadowy forces manipulating America are the biggest threat to our freedom, and that's the #1 reason why Kamala Harris cannot be president. Even if you're not a Trump supporter, remember, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Kamala's handlers clearly don't care about you, our freedom, or this country, and it's time to stop supporting them and vote for Trump. I know this counters the prevailing narrative that Trump is so bad, but that story has aged poorly. If you're still caught up in it, let me help you out. Before the 2016 election, we were warned that Donald Trump would start wars, but he didn't. That should have shown that he wasn't as portrayed by the establishment. He's not this unhinged guy. Instead, the media painted his presidency as disaster and pushed Joe Biden as a return to normalcy. If you voted for Joe to escape the drama, that's in the past. What's clear now is that Biden's normal means a presidency controlled by unseen forces. Despite earlier claims that he is as sharp as a tack, he's been missing in action since his campaign began and sidelined when the corrupt establishment was ready to move on. Recent events have completely exposed the lies about Trump. He's been defamed as an existential threat, his supporters vilified, and there have been attempts to imprison him and even to kill him. The conspiracy against Donald Trump is undeniable, as shown by his mugshot and the blood on his face. When they call him a threat, it's because he's a threat to their corrupt establishment. If you're considering voting for Kamala Harris, remember she's the same as Joe Biden. The only difference being that she's a brown woman without dementia. If you can't see that, it's time to trust your eyes. Even setting this aside, which we really shouldn't do, but even if you want to set that aside, a look at her past beliefs leads to the same conclusion that voting for her is an L. But we can entertain the what if game for a moment. Considering, what if Kamala isn't just a puppet? Let's start with the obvious. Well, it's tough to know a puppet's true beliefs, but the game ends quickly when we just look back and observe her Marxist tendencies. While she shifts to a more moderate stance to appeal to voters, she's on record advocating for the government to prioritize equity. Just listen to her yourself.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, oh, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we could get the same amount, but you're still gonna be that far back behind me. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
Regardless of whether Kamala's Marxist leanings are kept in check, supporting her means sacrificing the chance for a truly free society. In contrast, Donald Trump has demonstrated a commitment to American founding values. This is best illustrated in his 1776 report, published in his final month as president. The document lays the groundwork for the patriotic education he aims to restore and fosters a renewed appreciation for what makes our nation special. It reflects his dedication to America's vision, examining our purpose and acknowledging that no generation has fully upheld our ideals while confronting difficult chapters in our history, like slavery. It emphasizes that socialism and communism contradict the very essence of our country, urging us to embrace core values and resist opposing forces like identity politics. I'll link the document in the description. I highly recommend reading it. It truly showcases his understanding of what makes America unique and gives me hope that he can help our country become the free society it was meant to be. At this point in the video, I hope you recognize that you need to vote for Trump, especially after establishing that Kamala is controlled, and even if she weren't, she'd still be a disaster for our country. But it goes deeper. Her handlers truly hate America. I'll prove this through two key actions: the destruction of our election and immigration processes. First, let's discuss election. To ensure we consent to who governs us, we need a foolproof election system in every state. If someone claims an election was rigged, we should be able to confidently point to a process and laugh. Unfortunately, we lack that system today because of the corrupt establishment in place. Weak election governance has diluted our power and has handed it to those with political influence. And for some reason, this isn't widely understood. Living in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm shocked by the number of Kamala Harris Save Democracy signs I see. One is too many, and I've seen more than one. Feels like I'm constantly being gaslit. How can destroying democracy be seen as saving it? Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when essential safeguards like mandatory ID requirements and encouragement of in-person voting are replaced with mass mail-in ballots, questionable voting machines, and counting ballots after election day. Doesn't seem so safe, does it? If we want our elections to function properly, and we want to be able to laugh at people that say our elections are broken, we need to change this. Don't be fooled by the corrupt establishment's claim that Donald Trump is the threat to democracy. He's not. He's the one that supports secure elections.
And I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID.
Their use of the term democracy here is as misleading as North Korea calling itself the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It's that insane. Okay, got on election front? Because we're moving on. We're gonna start talking about immigration. This is our silent war today. It is a big deal because every sovereign country needs an orderly process to ensure newcomers understand and uphold its core values, and America is no different. But that's not what's happening here. Our establishment incentivizes destabilizing our country through open border policies like catch and release, access to public services for anyone, and lenient crime policies. They do this because our values challenge their total control. So they seek to change our country. The role of government in America is not just to ensure general welfare, but to protect our God-given rights and ensure equality under the law. This is what makes America America. This is what makes America a beacon of freedom and the best country in the world. Our immigration process is fundamentally flawed and needs reform focused on acceptance and assimilation to our values. Without this, the American experiment is on track to be extinguished without a single shot being fired. Completely extinguished. People who enter without understanding our values won't raise children who grasp them. It's that simple. Lose your culture and you lose your country. I won't dive into the basic beliefs we must hold to have a free society here, but I made another video on that topic. Go ahead and check that out. Here's my point about immigration. No country can afford open borders. This isn't vilifying those who are here illegally or who want to come here. Don't hate the player, hate the game. If I were born to a dire situation like Venezuela, I'd likely do the same. But as a country, we can't have an identity if we let people flood in here. Our broken immigration system is destroying America. As we approach the 2024 election, everyone knows who advocates for an orderly immigration process. It's the man who has been pushing for a border wall for nearly a decade and values our founding principles. That's Donald Trump. On the other hand, Kamala Harris is a flop. Let's look at immigration. Without taking substantial action against open borders or lenient crime policies, it seems like she supports them. It's confusing because now she's signaling support for more immigration control, but ultimately her handlers will make that decision. I want to make this clear. Her stance on immigration security isn't the only critical issue. Even if she claims to prioritize security, that's still not enough. Immigration control isn't just about secure, it's about protecting our core values. And we should be wary of Kamala because her beliefs stand in stark contrast to American values. In this election, while you have the right to vote for Kamala, it's a terrible choice. Vote for Donald Trump to stand against the destruction of America. If you care about election integrity and an immigration system that respects American values, Trump is the clear choice. As he says, we need a turnout that's too big to rig to overcome our broken system.
And I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. But until then, Republicans must win. We have to win to get it done. And we want a landslide that is too big to rig. Too big to rig.
That's how I see the state of things in 2024. It's definitely not a normal election, and I think it's really black and white who you should vote for. But I want you to hear that you don't have to agree with Trump on everything to recognize he's the best choice for commander-in-chief. I certainly don't. For instance, his overly optimistic views on the economy and inflation overlooked the crucial role of the Federal Reserve in printing money. Inflation would have occurred no matter who was in office, as it is simply the increase in currency units. I also believe his focus on job numbers and stock valuations as indicators of economic strength is misplaced. Still, he would undoubtedly be better for the economy than any option on the left. I also disagree with his stance on abortion, which he leaves to the states. Abortion is morally wrong. It's taking a life and should be addressed through national legislation. Donald Trump is avoiding a tough issue here. Despite these disagreements, I'm excited to support Donald Trump. His leadership is crucial for countering the deep state's interference and bringing us closer to the free society our founders envisioned. Electing Trump is just one vital step, though. Our fight for freedom requires us to be responsible citizens. Ronald Reagan said it best: freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It's not ours by the way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. While I believe America is not a free country, it seems we'll soon have a chance to make it so, as those in power are losing their grip with their ineffective attempt to control the narrative. The president and their party's current nominee, or the JV team, they are not impressive at all. And the cracks in our broken system are becoming evident, if they weren't before, whether through breakdowns in the rule of law, as seen in our election and immigration systems, or the burden of our $35 trillion debt, which is growing by the day, and I'll address this in a later video. A disruption to their control seems inevitable. During this uncertain moment in our country's history, we must navigate our situation strategically. It's crucial not to become overwhelmed by the choices that some, including hedge fund billionaire Ray Dalio, see as likely. Dalio believes that we will soon face three options: pick a side and fight, hide and pretend everything is normal, or flee to another country. If you plan to stay in America, well, fleeing is an option, and pretending everything is fine is just unwise. This leaves us with the flawed choice of pick a side and fight. And yes, I agree, we should fight, but for a free system. We must avoid the false dichotomy of Republican versus Democrat, or even a moderate position within that divide. It's actually extreme. Political parties can organize people, but they shift with cultural trends, and culture cannot dictate what's true. Today, that's painfully clear. Our culture is out of its mind. Guys are girls and girls are guys. We need to fight for objective, timeless principles like equality under the law and natural rights, where our rights are seen as God-given. If you believe in natural rights, advocating for a government that protects those rights should be your political foundation. This embodies American values and represents a true moderate stance. While this is important and makes America special, it shouldn't be your ultimate belief system, though. There's more than life than politics. They don't explain the world or define our purpose. It's noteworthy that our founding documents don't specify which God grants us our rights. And even if they did, it wouldn't be scripture. It's great that Christians like George Washington and deists who believe in a higher power that doesn't intervene in the world, like Thomas Paine, found common ground on the truth of natural rights to establish our country. But ultimately, there's nothing to worship in politics. Figuring out what you worship is so important. And there are some people that think they can be completely rational, that they can observe the world without worshiping anything. But that's a lie. Everyone worships something. What you ultimately desire is what you worship. Whether it's defined, eternal, or true, it doesn't have to be a religion. It could be a political party, a TV network, or money. If you're unsure about your beliefs, I encourage you to explore them. For me, when I did this journey led to a deeper appreciation of American founding values and ultimately to Christianity. I didn't expect that. I was just trying to get smarter, but it wasn't an accident. God saved me and changed my desire. As a Christian, I now hold an eternal perspective while caring for our earthly home. The ultimate battle for what is right and true has already been won, and I'm called to share a message more meaningful than any political one. The gospel of Jesus Christ, who died for our sins, was resurrected and will come again. His sacrificial love restored our broken relationship with God, and through belief in Him and not our works, but belief in Him, we are born again and have eternal life. I believe that our real battle is spiritual, though. It's not against people. And while I view Kamala Harris and her handlers as traitors, that is awful. No leader should be a traitor. I don't hate them. They too have souls, and all souls are worth saving. Politics is important, but it shouldn't dominate our focus. I wish that for you, no matter what you ultimately believe. As a Christian, I will fight for American ideals because I value maximizing freedom in our society. Our country is exceptional because it affirms that no individual can dictate our inherent value, serving as a shield against totalitarianism. American values allow for the free expression of beliefs and guides us towards a society where we balance minimal government intervention with the effective functioning of essential systems. That is what I define a free society as. This balance enables as much individual autonomy as society can bear, and this is extremely important because God granted us enough free will, including the ability to reject Him. That's the worst choice of all. So our societal structure should give us as much autonomy as society can bear. But as we end this video, let's drill right into what's in front of us. Our election's coming up in a few weeks, and it's important we don't mess this up. It's simple. On the presidential level, vote for Donald Trump. He will better guide America towards its founding principles than Kamala Harris. And that's not some wow, it's close. Kamala Harris will continue taking us backwards. Past actions on election and immigration issues show that Joe and Kamala's masters don't respect our country, and we need them out of the Oval Office. Beyond this election, let's keep America's vision alive by advocating for values greater than ourselves. Our rights stem from these values, making it essential to understand what we truly believe. Discussions framed in this context are far more valuable than letting political party battles take the lead. If we give that circus too much power and merely choose a side and fight, we risk losing sight of how to achieve a free society and, more importantly, of pursuing truth. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and please subscribe for more videos on exploring what a free society should look like.